Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we will be rating every player's performance as Tottenham had a defensive calamity at the back and conceded 4 goals to Leicester away at the King Power Stadium. A team with just 2 wins at home thrashed Tottenham 4-1 at home, thanks to goals from Napoli's Mendy, James Maddison, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Harvey Barnes. Before we get started with the player ratings, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more Tottenham Hotspur content. Comment down below what your thoughts were on this game. And we will start with goalkeeper in place of Hugo Lloris, Fraser Forster. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm giving Fraser Forster a 5.5. Forster really couldn't do nothing about the goals, especially Napoli's Mendy's goal. That was just lashed into the back of the net. But he did end up conceding 4 goals. So it was not a really bad performance from our defense, but Forster, he was really just dragged into this mess, honestly. Coming in for the injured Hugo Lloris, he was just dragged into this defensive mess today.
Yeah. The goals, they were literally a result of our defense not closing anyone down, because if you see, 3 of the goals were just passes into the back of the net. It was not a ferocious strike. It was not
Except Mendy's.
Except for Mendy. But the other 3 goals were just literal passes. They had so much time that they just had to wrap their foot around it and just calmly place it in the net. Forster couldn't do anything because Dier doesn't know how to, walk 2 steps forward and give a tackle on Iheanacho or whoever. So he's just kind of stuck there, and all the Leicester player has to do is just put it around the goalkeeper and around the defender, and it's a goal. And it was way, way too easy for Leicester to cut through our defense. We'll go into our defense now, starting with Japhet Tanganga. I'm going to give him a 3.
I'm giving Japhet Tanganga a 4. The slip he had, I don't remember for which goal it was.
It was the disallowed goal.
It was the disallowed goal.
Yeah.
But
that summed up our night.
And Davies Sanchez's slip for the other goal. The 4th one, that stood.
Yeah.
Those really just summed up our night.
Yeah.
Really.
Bro,
Tanganga got caught out of position so
many
much,
times.
too.
And he is really to blame for Pedro Porro's bad performance, in my opinion, because
at least defensively.
Yeah, if you cannot put a defensive liability like Japhet Tanganga right behind an attacking wingback like Pedro Porro, because every time Pedro Porro went forward, he was fine, but he was scared to go forward because Harvey Barnes would continuously catch him out, and Tanganga, I don't know what he was doing, but he couldn't defend today. Every time I saw the ball on that side, Tanganga would be backtracking and Harvey Barnes would already be past him. So, it was a really bad performance from our defense, and Tanganga was probably one of the worst ones. Moving into our center back, Eric Dier. I'm going to give him a 2.5.
I'm giving him a 4 as well.
Dier I think
he
is
does
at
not
fault.
know. He does not know how to close down. He just keeps jockeying and backing up, which is right. But he's not like Toby Alderweireld. He needs to take notes off of it. He needs to go back, watch condensed matches of our old matches where Toby Alderweireld and Vertonghen were back to, and watch Toby Alderweireld closing down players. What he would do is to do the jockey like Dier would do. But Dier just sits off. He just keeps backing up and backs up and backs up.
Yeah.
But Alderweireld keeps backing up, and he's surprises
He
knows the attacker.
He reads the attacker.
And as soon as they take a shot, he knows he has to go in for the tackle.
Yeah.
Dier doesn't do that at all.
Dier played like the center back of a back 3, which is exactly what he plays like, what he is. But he played like the center back of a back 3 that has Christian Romero in it. And that is different. Christian Romero is not the same player as Japhet Tanganga. One of them is going to come out, they're going to continuously get the ball, aggressive, they read the opposition. The other one, I don't even know what Japhet Tanganga did today. He was just there. He literally was just a marker that Harvey Barnes could just run past every single attack. And it could have been 7-0 if, I think, Leicester were a little more clinical at times. But Dier played like the center back of a back 3 with Christian Romero. If you saw him, he was standing off, expecting the other 2 center backs to cut in. But Tanganga's not going to cut in because he's not that kind of player. And Davies kind of operates by himself on that left side with Romero and Dier in his back 3. So he's not going to cut in. It's usually it should be Tanganga's job to kind of cut in. But that would mean Emerson or Pedro Porro coming back more defensively, which is not what he's built for. Pedro Porro is built as an attacking right wing back. So he's not going to come back, which means Tanganga has to cover for him, which means Dier's left out in the open. And Dier apparently doesn't know how to play as a center back anymore. So that's really where our calamity started in our defense. It just really, really went bad. Moving on to our last defender, Ben Davies. I'm going to give him a 4.
Giving Ben Davies a 5. Slightly better than than Dier and Tanganga.
Yeah, slightly. Barely. I mean, at least he was able to bring the ball out of the defense.
He was much more quiet than the other two.
Yeah.
But he was with Perisic on the left side, much more active in the first half than the second half.
Yeah.
But again, there's just no link up between our back three. This is not a back three that works. It's all because it's literally the same thing we played against Man City except we don't have Kuti this time.
Yeah.
Which is that literally
is
the
a huge
only
difference.
reason. That's the huge difference.
Yeah. Moving into our wingbacks, we'll start with new Spurs player, Pedro Porro, who made his debut today. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm giving Pedro Porro a 5 as well.
I thought, attacking-wise, every time he went forward, he looked like he was doing something more useful than Emerson Royale. Although I can't give Emerson Royale that much slate because he has been on fire for the last couple of games. Pedro Porro, when he went forward, he was fine. But coming back, he is such a defensive liability because he's built as a right wing back.
Also
and
lacks.
Harvey Barnes was ripping him to shreds. Harvey Barnes was on a different level today.
He also lacks a lot of physicality.
Yeah, but not only that, Tanganga did not provide him enough cover because as the right center back in a back five, if your wing back goes up, you're kind of supposed to cover for that right wing back defensively because they have attacking duty, so you kind of have to cover. But Tanganga didn't do that because he's not Christian Romero.
This is kind of the reason Pedro Porro didn't start against Man City because we needed Emerson, who did so well defensively against Fulham.
Yeah.
We needed him in there
and
to defend against Jack Grealish, and he did that today.
Yeah.
He did that against Man City, and we needed him today too to shut down Harvey Barnes.
But he didn't do that because he didn't start. But I think even when he came on, he looked a lot better than Pedro Porro defensively, and he somewhat should have that right side. Although I still think the big blame should be on Jaffa Tanganga and Eric Dier because. All in all, your right wing back can be great defensively, but it all matters about that inroad into the goal, and Tanganga covers that spot, and he was really bad today.
Yeah.
Moving on to our left wing back, Ivan Perisic.
I'm going to rate Perisic a 6. I thought he was really lively in the first half.
Yeah.
Did set him up really well, but he just could not get that final pass off.
Yeah. I'm going to give Perisic a 5 because I thought he had a lot of chances where he was open, and he did not do those chances justice. Yeah. I think he could have done a lot better.
He got himself into great positions on that left-hand side, but he just could not get the final pass. Yep. One example of that is that time when he somehow kept the ball in. He had so much time and space. All the players were in the box. Kane was lurking in the box. Dier was lurking in the box.
Bentancur was still on the pitch.
Benta was still on. And he put the ball... all he needed to do was loft it in there. And he put the ball way over. And... all the way
sent Kulusevski scrambling, trying to get it back, and then eventually crosses blocked, and Leicester go down the other end. I don't think they scored, though. But the biggest thing was that Napoli's Mendy goal. Perisic did not close him down, and that was the big worry, because if Perisic runs at him a little more, Mendy will not, he's not gonna strike the ball. He's gonna fake shoot, and then he'll, kind of go to the right and maybe put in a cross, and we could clear it. But because he gave him so much time and stood off so much, Mendy was ready to rocket it into the back of the net. And that was the biggest problem because that started Leicester's goal fest against us. Moving into our midfield, probably our most average, most decent part of the team, starting with the injured Rodrigo Bentancur.
I'm rating him a 7. The man was... compared to our team, he was different gravy. He looked like he should be playing for Real Madrid.
Yep.
Winning thousands of hundreds of trophies in his career.
But Bentancur, easily the best player today. His quick reactions got us the goal in the 14th minute to set us off early. Then, he was like the only useful player today, really, apart from Højbjerg.
He made so many great runs.
So many good runs through midfield. And he can't do much defensively because he's a midfielder. It's not like he can track back all the way to Dier and help him close down.
It's different if we're playing like a 4-2-3-1. Those two defensive midfielders.
They're way more defensive.
Yeah, they're way more defensive. But we have a back. He has a back five behind him, so he shouldn't have to worry.
Back five is supposed to be a defensive shore.
It's supposed to be a blockade of 5 defenders, and Bentancur shouldn't have to worry.
We have conceded the most goals in the top 13. The only other team to concede more goals in the top 13 is Leicester City at 38. The lowest of these is Newcastle at 12, Arsenal at 18, Man City at 21, Chelsea at 22, while we sit on 35 goals conceded for the season so far. In comparison, in 16-17, when we had that great season at White Hart Lane, we conceded 26 goals in total that season. And we're on track to double that.
That is crazy.
That
shows how good Vertonghen and Alderweireld were back there.
And how bad Davies, Dier, and Tanganga are.
I know. We have Guti, right? But we need a backup, too. We know how rash he is with his challenges. Yep. This summer, Levy has to put money into defenders.
A lot more, yeah. And he needs to put into defenders.
He needs to bring Ndika to Spurs from Frankfurt.
He'd be a great move. Moving on to our next midfielder, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I'm going to give him a 6.
I'm going to give Højbjerg a 6.5. He did really well in the first half.
Not as good as Bentancur.
Not as good as Bentancur, but as you can see, as soon as Bentancur went off injured, the link completely fell apart. He did not link up with Sarr very well.
Yeah. But not only that, like, he was the only one who actually wanted to do something today. He, like, kind of turned up more than the rest of the team. So, like, he was very, average, but he's suspended for Milan, which means we're going to see a midfield two of Skip and Sarr, because Bentancur's most likely out for at least a week, I'm going to say, with that knee injury.
More, possibly.
Even more. It could be an MCL, ACL. We really don't know. But Højbjerg is out, so it's going to be a Skip Sarr midfield against Milan. I'm kind of scared for that. Forster's going to be in goal. I mean, the only saving grace is that we're going to have Emerson and Guti on that right side, which is going to be good. Because Guti, Emerson, I mean, we played excellently against Man City with them, so hopefully that'll be a little bit of a saving grace. But yeah, we were pretty bad today. Moving into our front three, starting with Dejan Kulusevski, I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm also going to give Dejan Kulusevski a 5.
He was pretty average today.
He was really bad. Not bad, but like he had nothing. He was quiet. He had nothing to work with at all. What did he have to work with? Perisic's the overflow of Perisic's cross. That's the only thing he had to work with.
Yeah,
Pedro Porro was not linking up with Kulusevski very well. Of course, it's Pedro Porro's first game, but they were not working well. As soon as Emerson came on, you could see there was some sort of a link, but the passes still weren't coming off.
Yeah,
it was just a hard day for Decky today.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that much easier when he has Tanganga, messing up.
I mean, Emerson though. Emerson
links up so much better with Kulusevski, but right now, I think that Pedro that specific point of the game is not his fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just that Pedro Porro is new, and he just came into the side, and so it's not really his fault. I think it'll just take time to set in, but we really saw it today because Romero did not play and Tanganga played, and he is so bad at defending. Moving on to our striker, Harry Kane. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm also going to give him a 5. So quiet today. He had one shot, and I think it was like in the 89th minute.
Yeah. He was lively for like the first 20 minutes when we were leading. After we go down, our defense falls apart, which means that we don't get the ball forward. The ball literally found Harry Kane, I think, 3 times today. And 2 of those times, his first touch let him down, and he was pushed over by a Leicester player. Because he always had to get the ball as he was coming back and dropping deep. And the passes were always so short. I don't know why, but the passes were always so short, which means Kane has to run a little bit more. He's already off balance. Then he's got a Leicester player on his back, usually Sutar, who's just bundling him over.
6'7".
We lose possession, and then Leicester go up the other end. So that was literally summation of how we did today. But yeah, Kane did not have a very good performance today.
Nope, not at all.
Moving on to our last starting 11 player, Heung-min Son. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I thought he was our best front three player, especially in that first half. I think he was the only one who looked lively, who was making dribbles, running through the defense.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 5.5. He looked almost like his old self, at least in the first half.
Yeah. Second half, he definitely fell
Made
apart.
those driving runs just like he did against City. And it was also Bentancur and Højbjerg at the heart of it who won the ball back and immediately gave it to Son. That's how we got from being on the defense to immediately going on the front foot.
Yeah.
That worked really well in the first 20 minutes. But then, of course, Bentancur got injured, and that all fell apart.
Yep.
And then our defense,
Completely.
of course. But what's the solution to this midfield now? Maybe we can recall Harry Winks from loan.
For real. He might be our only savior because
Yeah.
our average age for our midfield against Milan is going to be 21 years old in the Champions League round of 16. That is kind of crazy when you think about it. And then you realize that Skip has not played much European football. Saar, I don't think he's played any European football. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game to watch on Tuesday.
Yet again, AC Milan are falling apart a lot.
They are, yep.
But
what does that matter?
We're falling apart.
Leicester had won 2 out of their home 2 games at home out of all the games they've played at home this season, and they've just thrashed us 4-1 at home. So a form is not really a telltale sign when it comes to Dr. Tottenham Hotspur. We'll rate one of our subs, which was Patmatar Sarr. I'm gonna give him a 5.5.
Also gonna give him a 5.5.
He came on for Bentancur after that injury. Didn't do anything wrong. He was just in midfield. Conceded 1 goal.
Didn't really link up well with Højbjerg, but
yeah.
He's new to the club. I think a loan move would do him well.
But now, we can't get a loan move because 3 of our midfielders are gone for the next game.
Exactly. When Basuma's back, when Bentancur's back, and when Højbjerg can stop getting yellow cards, and maybe Winks gets back,
Yeah.
Sarr can finally go on loan, maybe get into another club in the Premier League and get Premier League proven, which is what he needs.
Yeah. But yeah, that is it for our ratings for players. For Tottenham's loss to Leicester, pretty bad. I mean, I think anyone who watched it would want to rip their eyeballs out of their skull. It was bad. But that's it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe to see more Spurs content. Make sure you comment down below what your thoughts were on this game. And until next time,
come on, you Spurs!